So, as for that, it's been 12 minutes on this one. I really lost track of that criminal chase stuff, and I just told myself you silly thing to do. But anyway, fact how with very strong beams to pass over there, illuminating everything. You know that when I was in the highway, we had those all the time. I hated them. It illuminates you like a beam of light. No, there is nobody there. They ran away somewhere. That's what criminals do. Always lay down flat on the grass is also awesome. Anyway, not because I can see it, but just because they're cows, and it's kind of like cows too. But the point is, oh shit, Jesus. For that, and as I emphasized that again, I'm here. I was crossing the street. I want to eat my food. And as I'm doing all of that, you see the criminal chasing me quite literally, reasonably close as I'm crossing the street. And as a guy who grew up in Rio de Janeiro, and again, we should expect certain types of precautions to be kind of second nature. So when I point out things like, oh, but I left the things in the back, yeah, and the same day I pointed out, they left a fucking car with the windows open here once. Are you kidding me? A car is the most eye-catching thing you can find on a random fucking street at any given time. After all, the assumption that they'll be open is an entirely different story. But, you're saying me that a guy went there to fuss with some homeless person's belongings. Wow, there's a fucking car? Another day there was a fucking car over there? Like, are you crazy? No, again, the plan there was different. The plan was for me to be entangled, just entranced by the very fucked up vehicle that, well, again, it was not a good one. When you want to commit a crime, so you really don't want to commit to them too much. What the plan that was? To say that I'm a good person? If they want me to steal my car, they're gonna put a good car, right? So they're gonna catch it anyway. But regardless, my point is, whatever it is, it's more than a homeless person's belongings, right? Not to mention, as I said, power tools, the forklift, other things. This is simply not a dangerous area, particularly with private security and policing and other things. So you see what happened yesterday, particularly in front of cameras. I'm just pointing out, yeah, I was reckless because of being in this crime, but not nearly as reckless as it looked at first glance. In full context, particularly the evidence you already have, is not as reckless as you think. That's a one way in, one way out, presumably. Again, I'm not diving on the aspect, but it's a one way in, one way out. As far as that, because the other way, you're even more entrapped than this. This is the one way we don't have a gate to go through, right? Or a lock. So, at the end of the day, so one way in, one way out, so much so that they had to pass next to me, right? And all the other things. So as I said, it isn't perfect. It's just a better option. And in full context, if you imagine the other things that you've seen in video, not just that I'm telling you that I saw, but you got to see in video, it's not that much an assumption to make to leave a couple not that valuable things over there. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go there to mess with my things. Perhaps I should have looked into them. Perhaps I should actually eat up there instead of down there in the back. They're all hungry. By the way, important thing. This is very important. That's the reason I started. I just forgot. The reason over there when I was waiting, they threw irritation drugs in there. So my leg is itching quite a heck of a lot. Yeah. Some empty bottles that are left in the back, and then I check on the empty bottles actually first. Just because if that's evidence, it's pretty good evidence. So I'll be back in a minute. So as I said, it's not particularly convenient for them, but the thing about evidence is that reality cuts both ways. Sometimes it hurts one, sometimes it hurts the other. The fact is, you got to see it. Whatever it is, it's true that it was there. So it might be inconvenient, you, but yeah, everything's fine. If your bags are here, fine, it might be a different stretch. But we're gonna dive in there. Let's come. As going up there. I don't know. It's not like it's a bad approach. As a matter of fact, up there is for American in some way. And try a couple days. I'm sweating the shirt. Shit. No support. It's clipped over the corner there when you go. So, in a way, that's actually good that you get to see the impact. So, I was starting to see the point of the criminal, even if nothing happened. And I'm not saying that nothing happened only because of him. I think that I have a little role on the past way. Oh, especially that nothing happening as it hurts it too much. Pretty happy. So as I said, I think I have a little role on that part. But either way, as for nothing happened, this is extremely painful on my shoulder. You already see the amount of back forcing. Before, my idea was quite clear. I'm gonna get there, get the thing down, eat that. End of the story. Everything done. Cool. Instead, back and forth in here. What did I came here to pick up? What came to pick up here? I changed shirts. So, talk about the ball. So, there was this incident over there, previous time that I was wearing that bathroom, the one that I used there in the back, where as I was watching my leg, which is why it's so arrogant of him, so, the hubris is literally endless. Hey! Sempre. Fucking you see what I'm gonna just listen to what I'm gonna say when I say it, then compare that with this fucking accursed curse. That nothing can come out the way you want it to. Fucking nothing ever can be the easiest thing coming out. No matter what you do, no matter where you put it, nothing ever comes out easy. It's like underneath everything. Because it destroys my fucking everything. The victims of the crime. It's not it. So, I'll tell you what a fat ball. Technically, it wasn't even that fat ball, was the fat ball's best fat friend. And it was so I was there in the back changing clothes, and as I'm doing that, not just changing clothes, I was actually using the bathroom. Not using the bathroom to do that. It's something else. That day, there was some crime that happened, and my legs were either aching, which now we call the irritation drugs. All those drugs, some of them date a lot. So it's either the irritation drugs or something else. What I know was, I removed my jeans to put some water in my legs because I think that they were irritation drugs. Because I remember they aching a lot, and they were burning or something similar to that. I have to look at the evidence and see what it was that day, and I just wanted to pass some water on them so they would stop. I know there was something health related, and I know there was something that I removed that I couldn't do elsewhere because the legs, the pants wouldn't come up, so they were stuck at the height of my chin. It wouldn't pass the knee. Because they're jeans, right? It's kind of how it works. So as I was trying to, so when I get there, just full of muck, absolutely covered in muck. So as I get there, and it won't come out. There's too much muck and stuff and everything. So as I get there, and I'm doing so, and it takes some time, and I wash, and even get to dry the floor a little bit in the end, in a typical fashion for me, and in typical fashion for the war criminals. As I leave, and as I'm passing over there in the front, that same person, on that same place, that charges for the bathroom, which is Chef's Kiss, mentioned some crap about I'm going to use the bathroom. I think he chased me into the bathroom as well. I think there's something related to that at least one of the days, because I was changing clothes on the shower. Just to have a perspective, and again, for the crimes they're being accused of, the dehumanization being accused of, and the ball. So just qualify, those are the females on the Paradão gas station, right by the bathroom. When you have to pay, it literally has a sign saying pay here. So there's no way to miss, no way to confuse. There's only one in Foz do Iguaçu, as far as I'm concerned. It's very identifiable, and you know how much is me and identification, both when I want to do it and when I don't want to do it. As a reference, I just said a couple of minutes ago, and I was talking about Denzel Washington, I think it was the coach, when I said that I didn't want to quote by name because I don't like to emphasize names, because if I quote wrong, all of a sudden I'm attributing something that someone didn't say. Now, you see me also when I'm talking to criminals and addressing criminals and what they do. For all those events that I'm just describing to you, as I'm describing to you, I use eyewitness in the legal sense of the word. Meaning I was present and participant, not necessarily participant, but I was present and I witnessed those things as they developed the situation of it. In full context, given that all the context involves me, at least for what I'm describing. And so I don't know if there were two separate incidents or 2 separate days. I think there was. So one of them, one of them I was using the bathroom, what I did today, right? And as I'm leaving, that female is doing exactly the other female. No, it's not a fat one. It was another one. It's not that fat. Had the leg on top of a chair, very high, and it was doing some weird gestures in there, which is similar to the gesture that I was doing to wash my leg, as I was either in underwears or with no clothes inside the bathroom. Which, again, if you know anything about me and recording with phones, you know how cautious I am with the phone anyways. You always pay where I was pointing at, that's why the frontal camera is almost always blocked. You see how I flip upside down and down, which means that that's a confirmed bathroom, what they stock inside the bathroom. That's why I change clothes, my lights off. That's why I insisted on going to the other one, and that's why you have the fat ball female's voice refusing that on the grounds that apparently I showered last time I was there. Now you see, like literally right now, last time was right now, minutes ago, and you see the video's on YouTube. So check it out, I guess. Nothing else to say. So you see, in an otherwise eventless occasion that would have passed as a proof that perhaps they're even being dishonest to you, you see the female, the fat ball, essentially saying that I just showered there minutes ago when I was changing my clothes. And for that reason, I should not use that. I should use the other one. And the other one, you see the other female, this one is one inside the store, saying something like, it's not for you to shower, it's just for you to do other things. And I was like, what? First off, if you want to know this land, much like in any other land, if you ask for the bathroom or the toilet, you're talking about a toilet. You're not talking about a shower. That's the standard as in any other place, if you notice in any other place, right? You don't have an expectation to shower. At any point, any of my actions gave an expectation to shower. I was there for 1 hour, roughly, right? Because it was technically 1 hour and a half in the audio recording, but the audio recording started way early, even including the time it took for me to change clothes. So, roughly 1 hour. For the roughly 1 hour that I stay there, it's sensible that I would want to use the bathroom. It is not sensible, it's not a logical conclusion by any means, that I would shower. No reasonable person will have that expectation. So when you have someone inside mentioning that, that's relevant. When you have someone inside mentioning that after what the round thing outside said, it's very... by the way, if you think that that's accidental, it's not. It's the one video I have to, as I said before, send a clear message, because it was really pissed off seeing these days in the mall again, some commentaries and lines. I'm just trying to sound correctly, and I don't stand by what I actually did before. As I said, I have no issues treating criminals in the way that I do, and I think that you should, and you probably will. As a matter of fact, you're probably going to treat them way more nastier than I ever could, with words or anything else. But because again, internet and other things. No, baby, see, the cat hasn't eaten yet. We're going to have to worship. So the moral of the story, this and that happened at the same time, one after the other. Yeah, that's relevant. If the one inside, you could dismiss as just a casual thing. For the one mentioned that inside right after, it was just like, dude, I just want to change clothes, and acted as I tried to, as I have actually showered there, and as I filmed myself the entire time changing clothes using a toilet. Note that I even went to the shower, which is easy to change clothes on because you don't have a toilet in front of you. But I went to the toilet. So that's a easily dismissible lie. Full stop, in every regard, including the fact that when I passed on the way out, she saw me. I saw that. So that's it. She said I didn't change clothes. My clothes are visually different from the ones that I come in. I went in with a red long sleeve shirt, almost like Santa's helper, and a black pants. And I came out in jeans with a short sleeve white shirt or gray, right? It couldn't miss. It's very distinctive, particularly because my hat is red as well, and humans tend to notice those things more. Like it's no longer matching. So, big deal, right? And the lie about the thing. So the message is clear, but missing the point. If you see it just today, that's one thing. You got to see in video this time. So not only it's very likely that they are clearly working together to work today, right? Again, as I said, the one inside had no assumption anything about shower. Simply, plain and simple. Especially because let's assume for a second that the one in the bathroom talked to this one, and she says, well, he went there and he showered because she's an evil person, and she lied about me, right? Cool. Then why did the one inside presume that I wanted to shower again? If that was a lie. Now, it wasn't. It wasn't. But I'm just saying, even if that was the case, right? So you can see how they don't have a case no matter what. Even if you adapt a bit, it's just explicitly a lie. So, yeah, there was no major incident, unlike other times. But for what you see, you clearly see. So as I said, for the claim that I'm a fraud, and I'm lying about everything, based on the things you just saw. And again, not just in one phone, so tampering doesn't save them. Why did you get it? Because on the other hand, you get but it was kind of something like this. Except instead of scratching, it was more like something else. And notice that I wasn't feeling any of this. This started, even when I crossed, this person was standing here. Some type of irritation drugs in front of me as the guy was crossing. All of this is public video now. I was waiting for a reason to actually keep that public. And this plus the other one with the bathroom, when you see when I do that again, purpose of have gigantic on bathrooms is that those videos are widely available. I didn't show anyone else. I showed the ground into that, and then when I change clothes, you don't see much, but you sure as hell can see one thing, that I didn't shower at all. So, for the criminals that desperately invested in proving to you, you got to see this and that and that. Okay? Also, we check accidentally there when you uploaded all the YouTube videos from the previous explanation in the mall, the major one, right? We uploaded that, so that's uploaded. That's pretty good. And after that, with names, with everything on YouTube. And after that, you have this one now with this concept. And I realized that YouTube actually does keep subtitles, but you're missing the point. So it's essentially mimicking a gesture, and it's not doing that in even half ways about it. It's with its legs up like this. So again, take that as a fortunate example that you get to see what I mean by that. Because if they hadn't thrown the irritation drugs on me, I wouldn't be doing this. And I probably just mentioned that verbally for you, so you can see how explicit it is. It's something like this. And then just doing something really new for a female as you're leaving a bathroom, and you just look to the side, and she has like a bucket on top of a chair, because it's very high. So it's like a low chair with a bucket on top, and she has a leg on top, and just like passing something like a towel or something like that. By the way, with the criminal guy in the back in the wrong lane, the illegal lane. Beautiful, right? So with a towel like that, as I said, very explicit. And with that, as I was leaving, though I believe kind of something along the lines of two incidents. I think the next one did something about shower, or he was one day when he chased me into the bathroom and then said something about shower. Give the benefit of the doubt, and I assume it's the last incriminating one for them, even if such things are thing at this point. And the one that they don't chase me into the bathroom, especially because I probably remember that more clearly if that was the case. But is evidence. Look into the file and assume which one it is. It might be the other one, or that just the next day when I went there to use the bathroom, and they said that I couldn't use the bathroom, something like that. Kind of like we saw today, because of showering, same principle. Because when you see the dehumanization that I mentioned about something about smell, right? And especially those of Paraguayans, I don't judge people based on appearance of ethnicity. Even when I call them fat, it's not because I hate fat people, it's because, as I said, fat is again, if they were bald, they'd be called them cue balls. If they were short, they'd be called them plums. It's because they're criminals. The name calling just comes as a consequence. And criminals are choice. At the end of the day, it's not the name calling specifically that causes the hatred. Is the hatred that causes the name calling based on their own choices, which is fair, as I mentioned before. The only reason I don't like to do this often is because many of those names might serve as inspiration for other terrible human beings to torture the life of other victims. And that's the reason I chose not to do that anymore. In general, this is an exception. As for, I couldn't care less what they think, as the criminals think, and what they're much like you, to be honest, couldn't care less about how much they dislike the way that the criminals are being called by me as their victim. And I honestly don't think you're going to catch you slides a bit for what you be calling them either, or anyone else. As a matter of fact, very few people live in the very small space where very polite and nice people would call them piss and shit, because their crime is dying. And anyway, for what it's worth, I mentioned that before. And piss and shit is for most people worse than fat. As for so as mentioning, and for what it comes on the aspect, and so that is that. But if you don't understand why I'm particularly aggravated about it, it's not so much that. It's not even so much what you see today. It's the disgusting crimes, right? Because I mentioned today, as I said, they're throwing something in the air, likely coming from that same gas station, where it hits my skin and it causes those things to stuck in it. So when they focus too much on the fact that I couldn't shower there, which, by the way, I can. You saw the plate? It's $10. You know how much money I spent inside? $5. So there's that. But we just double that and shower if I wanted to. Okay? Matter of fact, there's several places in here where you can do that. I was surprised in Argentina how you had so many normal places where it didn't have a shower. I know that in this place here often you have gas stations with showers. You have terminal stations like the bus terminal with showers. You have several places with showers. What I remember from this country. Go to Argentina, I don't remember finding a single one of easy public showers. People there apparently just have a different type of culture. As for as I said before, every time I leave the bathroom, and make sure to wash my hands, even though I don't pee. No, I don't pee, I don't. But the thing is, and by the way, you notice how the backing for that, right? Again, this is not just some casual talk that comes from a guy who doesn't fully understand how to one or two incidents. This comes from something systematic, which is on point. Because as I said before, I myself don't appreciate certain things. It bothered me when I said about short people or Argentinians without proper explanation to substantiate that. It bothered me considerably. To the point where at the same time I made a new video. It was a problem with space. It was a huge issue, and I found space to do it because it was bothering me that I just live in that loosely. It's not who I am. As for so at the end of the day, so again, either way, moving forward. So you see that not only as an extension of the crimes from the country, you see this as an extension of the crimes you see even practiced here. The very dehumanizations, which is the basis for this. And right now they might be focusing too much on the bags because they think that that's what they can get away with. As I said, they're pissing shit and they're picking up shit and throwing shit at the wall and seeing which shit's gonna stick. If it drips down into one of them, that's bad. Well, apparently one of them is going to be orgasmically happy, but for most people it's bad. And sorry for the graphic, but they are very disgusting. The crimes even more. I'm talking criminals in general here, just to clarify. As for not just here, all over the place. And from the interesting fact, right, there's this car overtaking a motorbike, doing all that to overtake a motorbike, that was moving extremely slowly in front of here. And as I arrived, something got stuck in my throat. Either that car was doing something nasty, or that car knew that someone was doing something nasty, knew he was going to get caught in the drive, knew that I would likely flip the phone to show to you, and didn't want anything to do with that. I don't know why the idea appeals so much to me. It's just a gut feeling, but you listen to your heart sometimes. And so it's I don't know where. I think it was one of those YouTube videos I was listening to an investigator, a detective, and he said, look, sometimes everything points you in one direction, but you just have the fucking feeling that doesn't go away. And you pursue that feeling, and all of a sudden you get some new lead. You're not gonna prosecute someone on a feeling, but you certainly go there to check it out. And I'm going there to check it out for this case means mention to you. Maybe it has some foundation to it. I don't know. The inversions between. I don't even dive on that one. But sure, that's very clear in this shit show who is the criminal and who they are victims and who is cops would speak, right? Not jury and judge. So moving forward. And that's the point. Again, if you ever know a couple of questions, I pointed out about good cops today in here. If you ever know at some point why you don't see more participation from the police, to me, in great degree, is that good cops want nothing to do with this. Like, they don't. They probably just taking a wide berth and this as they can. I imagine they say, oh, if they know about a crime, they're duty bound to. Yeah, but life is a bit more complicated. And honestly, with so many crimes and so many disgusting people in general, I don't hold too much of a grudge on good cops who chose to not do much. It would be enough blame and enough hate towards bad people, even including bad cops who do bad things that might exist. So, honestly, I simply don't care. No, that's all I don't care is that I'm too exhausted to think about. And honestly, as I said, I honestly think that with so much around, that it's such a small thing that the only people even mentioning that would be either thoroughly, which is my case, I'm just mentioning for the sake of completion, or people who have ill intentions. Because as I said, with so many bad people already be prosecuted, way more than likely would be. Yeah. So moving forward, I imagine that part of the reason is this, because again, as I said, there's no doubt about it. It's not halfway to a doubt to who is right and who is wrong in this. It's full stop, right? And either way, so the things you just listen inside the gas station, and keep in mind, this is a continuation video. You've seen that YouTube one after the other. So the other thing is the bullcrap is saying that there was this is a direct quote, by the way. Something that did prove to be a harm to society, so they locked him up. And that is probably right after the First Amendment violation, the best proof to how much they have no idea of how rights work, or how rights are supposed to work, or how any of that works. Period. That showcases a profound misunderstanding of how everything in law is supposed to function. That's exactly what law is supposed to prevent. That's the textbook of a place that is not ruled by the rule of law. This is what you see in banana dictatorships. This is what you see in anarchies or something like that. That's the textbook example of everything that the rule of law is designed to prevent. And again, saved from them using a First Amendment, the opposite of a First Amendment. You know, basically saying that I don't like what you're saying, so I have the right to do those nasty things. Shorter than that, that's by far the second most egregious thing. And once again, they are boasting about that to you as an attempt to scare me off, for which I couldn't stop smiling. I often try not to react, so they don't say I'm reacting to them, but that was just too much. It's literally, again, everything the law is supposed to stand by, yes, that's the opposite. Okay, a right is not supposed to be exerted when it's comfortable for people. That's the very opposite of what a right is supposed to mean. A right is supposed to be there either way, no matter how much that is bothersome, no matter how much you don't like that. Again, and it's funny that when I was in the bathroom, I was just referencing the idea of, you know, if you arrive in a KKK and you see this black guy guarding the door, you can read in there and literally listen to that in the video. So instead of showering, I was making direct reference for the war crimes. That's cute, right? But another time when she said it was, you know, showering, and I was not. And there was a reference to all the dehumanization they do that lead up to anything from the pretentious smell to the actual things you see stuck to my skin in time span of a couple hours. Yeah, that was the time when I was just straight up calling them fucking, well, whatever you presume from that one. And yeah, so you see, kind of similar to that. Imagine if society just happened to find out black person. It's so easy. Everything. It's literally everything the rule law is. More power to them. That's the best direct quote I can make. As I said, it's recorded in video and audio. I think it's on a screen recorder on top of that, which is even better because it's already on YouTube. If it is audio, we save that. It's in a safe location. And anyway, you might be ignoring my word. Sorry. But yeah, so as I said, the thing about inside is a less of a thing, except it isn't, because guess what? Inside they throw a lot of shit in the air. I might be mentioning that a bit less because I'm mentioning other things that are priority. Let's how low it is. Having a gut feeling to lower it, but I don't know if it's a real gut feeling or it's still some crime that they're doing. Welcome to my world. Even my feelings, I don't know, sure, it's something to do with them. Makes you feel pretty good, right? When you see the full context of the picture. So, two different things inside the dine as well. You saw even some of them coughing. Just again, you see, there's a point and I all just say yes, indeed, there are things in there as I told you a minute ago. So don't think that was intentional, but one or two options. Either the coughing, something related to this crime, that's good. They are involved, in case you fail to notice by what I just said, they said. And it's not hearsay because you can hear them saying it. But, I mean, if that's what they're standing for, it's not like I could be lying about them, so you can hear them saying the point. On the other hand, you have the maybe once you climb. And on the other hand, you have the it's not they're coughing because there's something in the air. That's what I'm saying now, there's something in the air. I mentioned that before as well. Before they coughed, before I coughed. I'm just wanna eat, man. I don't wanna deal with the bullshit. I think that they want me up here too. I feel like I should go down there, but I don't know if I'm feeling that because of some type of walk around that they did to me at night, or because I already ate there in the early, and it was okay. Which is why in my mind, that was my plan. I was gonna cross the street as I was here, pick this thing, put it down, eat something, then end up talking those things, or maybe not talking those things. And then you have the criminal chasing me there, which caused me to be on the other side, and then one thing leads to the other, and remember the things that I failed to mention earlier. So, pay attention, see through the lines. Those are the deceiving criminals that think they're gonna fool the entire world. All you should know. Now, and then all the other inhumanities that I don't need to mention here, I mentioned the other day. I already mentioned the other day. Trying to remember. But yeah, there's a place where they confirmed that there's stalk inside the bathrooms. That was such a specific gesture that I was doing, it would be impossible for anyone to guess. Way too specific. So if you see it happening in other places, just know that it happened here. I denounced that on the spot when it happened, on video. Not on the spot, but it was one day after. Oh no, 1 day, 1 hour, when I left. When I saw the gesture and I referenced that video. I think it was March of 2025. It was very early since I found this place. And the reason I always prefer to use the big bathroom. So, when I asked Tanya what she thinks that that woman said, she's talking Portuguese, right? I understand Portuguese. See if there is some difference in the voices that would make sense, because they like to do this or pretend they are listening to something else than what I'm actually saying. So they're gonna use the video as a referee and Tanya as the judge, as the jury, to determine if not the video as evidence, and Tanya is free to determine. Case enough.